What's going on, guys? Sam and Bobby here. We are live in Rabat, Morocco for the Africa World Cup qualifiers, Nigeria versus Gabon and Cameroon versus DR Congo. But the last 24 hours have been a bit of a madness, bro. A
Yes,
bit
they
of a
definitely have.
madness. So the Nigerian national team boycotted training yesterday over unpaid wages and bonuses. There's a lot to the story, of course. I'm sure you guys have read the discourse online. You've seen the stuff on Instagram and Twitter, for example. But if you haven't, this is the video for you.
Yeah, for sure. I can't sum up even more. We spoke with ESPN Africa correspondent Colin Udo, and this is what he had to say.
Everybody knows that, as is usual with the Nigeria team, it is not complete until there is drama, controversy, one thing or the other when they're getting it ready for a major game. And this was no different. So, yesterday, which was Tuesday, which were about 2 days to go to the CAF 2026 World Cup playoff against Gabon, news came out of the team camp that the players were boycotting training to press for payment of their outstanding bonuses, allowances, and so forth being owed by the federation from months and some were saying years back. So there was really a lot of confusion and misinformation going around. And the reason was because the NFL weren't saying anything. The players also weren't saying anything. All they said was they were boycotting training. So there was a lot of stuff going on. Some reports saying that these outstanding payments date all the way back to 2019. Some saying it wasn't, and then others saying there were special bonuses that the players were requesting for this players. So, but just to cut to the real detail, I spent some time talking to both sides, the players and the officials, even though they didn't want to speak. And what emerged for me was that the players had had the outstanding bonuses paid up until these World Cup qualifiers. What was indeed outstanding was one match bonus against Lesotho and some camp allowances for the entire World Cup qualifying series that they had not been paid. But what they were also pushing for was to be paid improved bonus package for these playoff games. And what they wanted was an increase of their bonuses for this playoff series to $15,000 per game per player. And that was the sticking point. So that's part of why they boycotted training yesterday, which was Tuesday. So the Nigeria Sports Commission chairman Shehu Diko and NFL officials flew in, had long meetings with them that went all the way into the night, and eventually, they agreed to make some payments. So they've paid them all the outstanding camp allowances. They've paid them the bonus, and so now, and then players are back in training. So just to be very clear, the Nigeria captain William Truth Ekong posted that all outstanding financial obligations have been cleared by the Nigeria Football Federation. So what that means going forward is that if we hear that there's a bonus row in Nigeria camp, it is from this game and not from anything from behind. So I guess that's a little bit of the update to be given, because as it stands now, the players were in training, getting ready for the game against Gabon.
Yeah, we were just that's a lot to take in for sure. So it's like you said at the start, it's always something. We were just
Yeah.
at training here in Morocco, and it looked like the players were in good spirits. Obviously, as you said, like they were up till last night discussing, etc., etc. Going into tomorrow's game, which is obviously a huge game, how do you feel the boys will kind of react to this? Do you think it's now cool, the issue is cleared, and now we can just head on and concentrate on the game? Will that be the kind of the vibe in the camp?
Well, look, I think the thing that we all know about Nigeria is that they are one of the most unpredictable sides that you can think of in football. So they might get the best of preparation, get on the field, and get absolutely clobbered. And then they might get, have chaos in the build up to a major game, and then go out there and give you and surprise everybody, stun the opponents, and do the clobbering themselves. So it doesn't tell you which way or the other this is going to go. But the one thing I can tell you is that this particular incident has not sort of like taken away from the focus and the distraction, because what the players did apart from the regular meetings was have representatives who sat down with the federation to discuss, and those represent include the captain, William Troost Ekong. So it wasn't everybody involved. The rest were doing other stuff, doing their normal video preparations, film study, talking to coaches and so on, and getting ready for the game. So what and I guess the question you're asking is if this boycott was a major disruption or major disruption to their training preparation and how that affects them for the game. I would say maybe not exactly. You could say maybe 10, 20, at most 30%. But otherwise, I think that, generally it didn't create as much disruption as we would think that it would. And so going into the game, I think the players still going with the same mindset, but now they've put themselves under additional pressure because a lot of Nigerians, and I've heard from a lot of Nigerians who say that the timing was wrong, and with such a crucial game coming up within a day or two, they should have picked a better time to do so. A lot of people are not happy about what happened, even though they support their agitation for getting paid what is due them. So I think that now puts pressure on the players to go out there and deliver and show the people that yes, despite all the stuff that's going on, we still stayed focused on the game. Because if they lose, the backlash is going to be really, really intense.
Damn, man, bro, Colin, he cooked.
Bro.
He gave us all the info we needed, man, and damn, there was a lot, bro.
There was a lot
to unpack there.
I don't even know what to say, bro. I think we could probably just start off by talking about what it was actually like being outside the hotel.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were stood outside the hotel for a few hours, trying to gauge the situation, trying to see if any of the players were going to come out. I got there beforehand, and I saw Iwobi, Semi Ajayi walking around. I think they just popped to the shop or whatever, but seemed pretty calm when they were walking around. It almost seemed like nothing was going on. That's how calm they were. But eventually, after a few hours, obviously the players came out, and obviously based off William Troost-Ekong's tweet, it seemed like all the issues were cleared up. They had their meeting with whoever they had their meetings with, the officials, the NFF, whatever, and it seemed like they came to a resolution. Now, I think the biggest question you have to ask is all this madness that's happened going to interrupt the flow of the game tomorrow? It's a big game.
It's a massive game, bro.
It's a big game, bro.
Yeah.
Nigeria not playing at the World Cup for 2 consecutive tournaments.
It's a big talking point in
You could
itself.
call it a national disgrace, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with
You could label it that, yeah, you could. You really could, bro.
They need to be there. So these next 2 games, they're not a joke. They're not a joke. And if they get past these 2 games, they've still got one more.
Yeah,
They need
exactly.
to get through as well. So, let me get your thoughts, man. How did you feel just being out there and just gauging what was going on?
Well, bro, I'm kind of like, I think the way you kind of summed it up by saying that you saw Iwobi and Ajayi just, kind of strolling around, going to the shop, going about their business. I know Iwobi's been, I don't know, I don't want to say infamously using his Snapchat account to kind of showcase what's been going on inside the camp anyway. So from my perspective, bro, and from being outside, it kind of seemed somewhat relaxed, The boys kind of came out, they seemed very relaxed. They were taking pictures with fans, strolling onto the bus, having a bit of fun and that. So it seemed like they were very relaxed about the situation. So obviously, Troost-Ekong came out and cleared it up anyway. So maybe it kind of suggests that they had faith in the system that, that they put forward to kind of resolve it. Yeah. And that they were focused on the game. Do you know what I mean? They were, I feel like, Nigeria, the team is always kind of quite relaxed in training and that anyway. So it didn't seem like there was any tension coming out of the hotel, or they seemed stressed, or they seemed like extra. They seemed mad chill, if I'm honest, bro.
You've seen a lot of the players just taking selfies with some of the
that's
locals,
what I'm saying.
bro.
They didn't seem like, we're mad annoyed, like we're not on this game, we just want our cash or whatever.
I think they know what's at stake. That's the thing. I think
Yeah.
when you put on a Nigeria jersey, you know what's at stake.
Exactly,
It's we don't play around. We're here to get the job done. And look, I think they can do it. They're more than capable. They got the players to do it.
Yeah, of course.
They look like their heads in the game, so I'm hoping it stays that way come the 90 minutes tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
I think one thing I noticed is Osimhen is like his I don't want to use the word aura because that's very
Demeanor, maybe?
Demeanor, like just his presence. I think he seemed very much like he was in the zone. Do you know what I mean? Got straight onto the bus in for training, and had his AirPods in, locked in. So and obviously he's the talisman, man. So if he turns up,
100%.
do you know what I mean? I think that'll be half the job.
Yeah, and bro, like even when we pulled up to training, like obviously we only got 15 minutes. The media only get 15 minutes
Yeah.
at that point. But the intensity already from the get-go.
Yeah.
They were on job.
Yeah, they really were. I'll tell you what I liked. It was interesting seeing. I always find this fascinating whenever we go and watch like these training sessions and stuff. Anyway, the way the coaches set up. But it was really fascinating that some of the more attacking players, the bigger names, I guess you could say, were kind of training a group together. So it just seemed as if it was another day. Do you know what I mean? It didn't seem like all this storm had been going on behind the scenes. So I think that could put us in good stead. You know what I mean?
What's crazy to me is that, bro, like some would say that Nigeria shouldn't even be here right now.
Yes. Well.
Should have topped the group.
Yeah, it's true.
All
What
said
did
and
Colin
done.
say though? There's always drama.
There's always drama with the national
yeah.
team. Bro, there's always something. And I don't
Exactly.
know what it is. But just talking about the NFF, like, things like this need to be resolved. We can't be having issues like this towards big games like this. I know, like, one of the things that Colin mentioned was that some fans are a bit upset that the players spoke about it now. Now, I think the players have every right to bring it up, for sure. Do I think the timing was wrong? I don't. And the reason why I say that is because you need to do it in a high-pressure moment. The NFF want Nigeria at the World Cup. They know the rewards they're going to get if we qualify for the World Cup. So
Good point,
the players
man.
putting the pressure on them now makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
But if we do lose against Gabon, or if we beat Gabon and lose on a Sunday, big issues, man.
Yeah,
it won't be nice.
It is going to be like you said. You mentioned earlier about the AFCON final, the last AFCON. Which Nigeria weren't successful at. You said the outlash was the backlash. Sorry, was crazy then.
Backlash was nasty.
Yeah. I think talking like bringing the money kind of conversation into it, whether it's like valid or not. I think from like the layman, they're going to look at that and they're only going to think one thing, aren't they? Oh, they just want the money. They just want to play for this. They're just more concerned about that. So despite us knowing the context and despite the more informed fans knowing the context, they've put the pressure on themselves a little bit here. Do you know what I mean? To bring it up and be like, because like you said, if we lose, then damn, they've got so many like things that can be thrown at them as to why. Do you know what I mean? So
but I feel like even as a Nigeria fan, you got to trust them. Like I feel like they know. I feel like they know what
keep
they're
the
doing.
faith.
You know what I mean? Keep the
they know
faith,
what they're doing, man.
They know what they're doing.
They're chilling. Yeah.
They know that they can still go out there and perform in it. So I think, look, you just got to trust the timing they did it at. Like, let's just see what happens, bro. Like, I'm confident they
Big
can.
game, man.
They can get past Gabon. Like, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, obviously, he's going to come there. He's aging a little bit. He's going to want to play at a World Cup next year.
Yeah, of course.
So he's going to come
They all do, man.
full force as well. And he's still banging goals in Europe as well. So he's going to be a problem. But I think on paper, man, you've got to back Nigeria in this team. But like Colin was saying, this team is very, very unpredictable. We've seen Nigeria come in full of confidence, all guns blazing, and lose a game. And then we've also seen them be in a madness before a game, come out for the 90 minutes and just smash the team they're playing. So let's just see what team we're going to get tomorrow, bro.
We're going to be there, man. And to be honest, soaking up that atmosphere is going to be a great experience, bro. So, damn.